Beauty and the Beast, the story of Belle. Once upon a time, a spoiled, selfish prince lived in a shining castle deep in the forest. One winter's night, an old beggar woman came to the castle and offered the prince a rose in return for shelter. Repulsed by her appearance, the unkind prince turned her away. He sent her back into the night without another thought. Suddenly, the old woman turned into an enchantress. She transformed the prince into a beast and placed a spell on the entire castle. If the prince could love and be loved in return, before the last rose petal fell, the spell would end. If not, he would be a beast forever. Belle always had her nose in a book, so the villagers thought she was strange, but she was also very beautiful. That's why Gaston, the most handsome and most conceited young man in the village, wanted to marry her. Gaston was certain that Belle would feel lucky to marry him. But Belle didn't want to marry such a boorish fellow, especially one who didn't appreciate her love of books. "It's not right for a woman to read," said Gaston. "Soon she gets ideas. Start thinking." Just then, a loud bang came from Belle's cottage, where her father Maurice was working on a new invention. Gaston's sidekick LeFou laughed and called Maurice a crazy old loon. "He's not crazy. He's a genius," replied Belle, hurrying home. Inside the house, Belle found Maurice surrounded by pieces of his new invention, an automatic wood chopper. "I'll never get this bone-headed contraption to work," Maurice said. "Yes, you will," Belle said. "And you'll win first prize at the fair tomorrow." With Belle's encouragement, Maurice quickly repaired his invention. Then he loaded it onto a wagon and set out for the fair. Belle knew the townspeople thought Maurice was odd, but she believed in him with all her heart. As evening fell, Maurice wondered why he hadn't reached the fair. At a crossroads, he studied the signpost. Which way should he go? The path he chose grew dark and tangled. Soon, he was lost in the forest. Suddenly, wolves howled nearby. Philippe the horse threw Maurice off and bolted away. The snarling wolves cornered Maurice in front of a huge gate. Maurice banged on the gate until it creaked open. He stumbled inside. Maurice tiptoed inside an enormous castle. The shadowy hall seemed empty, but Maurice heard whispering. "Is someone there?" Maurice called. He picked up a candlestick to light his way. "Hello!" the candlestick answered. Maurice couldn't believe his eyes. The castle was full of enchanted objects that could move and talk. They appeared to be servants in the house. The candlestick, whose name was Lumiere, and a clock named Cogsworth, led Maurice to a comfortable chair in front of a warm fire. Suddenly, a terrifying beast stalked into the room. "So you've come to stare?" the beast growled. I meant no harm," Maurice stammered. "I needed a place to stay." "I'll give you a place to stay," the beast snarled. Then he locked Maurice in the dungeon. Meanwhile, Gaston had decided that the day of his wedding had arrived. He was sure Belle would accept, so he made all the preparations, except one. He hadn't bothered to propose yet. Belle was surprised to see Gaston, but she was even more surprised when he announced that this was the day her dreams would come true, by marrying him. "I'm very sorry, Gaston, but I don't deserve you," Belle replied. She opened the door and splat! Gaston lost his balance as he went out the door and fell into a mud puddle. He was furious. Just then, Philippe galloped into the yard, alone. Belle was alarmed. "What happened? Where is Papa?" Belle asked the frightened horse. "You have to take me to him." It was growing dark when Philippe brought Belle to the castle gate. Belle saw Maurice's head lying on the bath. Determined to find her father, Belle entered the foreboding castle. Belle searched the castle until she found Maurice shivering and coughing in the dungeon. "You must go now," Maurice cried when he saw Belle. But it was too late. The beast lunged from the shadows. "What are you doing here?" he roared. Belle pleaded with the beast to let Maurice go, but the beast refused. "Take me instead," Belle offered. The beast accepted with one condition. "You must promise to stay here forever," he said. Maurice raced back to town, shouting for help to rescue Belle from a horrible beast. But everyone laughed at crazy old Maurice. Everyone except Gaston. He had just thought of a way to use Maurice to force Belle into marriage. Back at the castle, Belle met Mrs. Potts, a motherly teapot, and her son, a cute teacup named Chip, along with other enchanted servants. "That was a very brave thing you did," said Mrs. Potts. She knew that Belle had chosen to stay to save Maurice. "But I've lost my father, my dreams, everything," said Belle. Downstairs, the beast was furious because Belle had refused to join him for dinner. "If she won't eat with me, then she doesn't eat at all," he roared at the servants as he paced across the room. "Try to act like a gentleman," Mrs. Potts advised him. Later that night, when Belle grew hungry, she crept down to the kitchen for a bite to eat. To her delight, The staff treated her to a feast with singing and dancing. They were thrilled to finally have a guest. After dinner, Belle wanted to explore the castle. The Beast had forbidden her to go into the West Wing, which made her curious. So she slipped away and ventured up the stairs. There, Belle peeked into a darkened room and gasped. She saw a rose glowing under a glass dome. Several petals had fallen off. Entranced by its beauty, she reached out, but before she could touch it, the Beast burst into the room. "I warned you never to come here," he bellowed. "Do you know what you could have done? Get out!" Terrified, Belle ran from the castle. "Promise or no promise, I can't stay here another minute," she cried. She climbed onto Philippe, who was waiting outside, and the two raced into the forest. But soon, ferocious wolves surrounded them. Before the wolves could attack, the Beast sprang from the shadows. Growling and snarling, he fought off the wolves' snapping jaws. At last the pack fled, howling into the woods. Belle was safe. But the Beast had been hurt. Belle tended to his wounds. "If you hadn't run away, this wouldn't have happened," the Beast complained. "If you hadn't frightened me, I wouldn't have run away," Belle replied. Then she added, "Thank you for saving my life." "You're welcome," said the Beast. As days passed, Belle began to see the goodness inside the Beast, and he learned to be gentler and kind. Even little birds noticed the difference in him, perching fearlessly on his shoulders and eating birdseed from his paws. The staff watched Belle and the Beast hopefully. Even Chip knew something special was happening. It seemed as if Belle and the Beast were beginning to care for each other. Perhaps, just perhaps, the spell would finally be broken and everyone could become human again. One evening, the Beast arranged an elegant dinner. He looked handsome in his suit, and he tried very hard to act like a gentleman. Belle was beautiful in her gown, but they both felt nervous. Something was happening between them, and neither one knew quite what to say or do. As soft music played, the Beast took Belle in his arms and they danced around the candlelit ballroom. The Beast gazed at Belle. He loved her. But could he find the courage to tell her? The Beast asked Belle if she was happy. She replied yes, but that she missed her father. So the Beast showed her a magic mirror that revealed an image of Maurice. He looked ill. Although only one petal remained on the enchanted rose, the Beast released Belle from her promise, letting her return home to her father. The Beast gave Belle the mirror so she would remember him. He had allowed Belle to go because he loved her. As he watched her ride away, he howled. It seemed that any hope of breaking the spell was gone forever. Belle rushed home to Maurice. To their surprise, Chip had snuck into her bag and come along too.
"How did you escape that horrible beast?"
asked Maurice. "He's different now, Papa," Belle said. But before she could explain, there was a knock at the door. Meanwhile, Gaston met Monsieur Dark from the Asylum de Lons and bribed him to declare Maurice insane. As the guards dragged Maurice to the asylum wagon, Gaston cornered Belle. "I might be able to clear up this little misunderstanding," he said slyly, "if you marry me." "Never!" Belle exclaimed. To prove that her father wasn't crazy, Belle showed the villagers the beast's image in the enchanted mirror. "He's my friend," she told them. Jealous and enraged, Gaston seized the mirror. "Kill the beast!" he shouted. Belle tried to stop Gaston, but he locked her and Maurice in their cottage. Then, with torches flaring, Gaston led the townspeople to the castle. Boom! The door shook as the townspeople tried to force their way into the castle. Inside, the servants tried to think of a plan. With a crash, the doors flew open, and the townspeople stormed inside. But the servants were ready. The hat rack punched, the wardrobe slammed her doors, and the chairs kicked. At last, the servants chased the townspeople away from the castle. Only Gaston remained. Finding the beast alone, he raised his bow. The beast did not fight back. When Gaston's arrow hit him, he staggered back, crashing through the window and onto the castle roof. Gaston followed the beast. "Get up!" he shouted. "What's the matter? Too kind and gentle to fight back?" The vicious bully raised a club. But before he could strike, Belle screamed out from below. No! She and Maurice had escaped from the cottage and had raced to the castle. Startled, Gaston paused. The beast heard Belle's voice and looked up. "Belle," he whispered. Hope filled his heart and gave him the will to defend himself. The beast lunged at Gaston and held him near the roof's edge. "Let me go. Please, don't hurt me," pleaded the bully. The beast had changed. He no longer wanted to hurt anyone, not even Gaston. He released Gaston and climbed over to a terrace where Belle had run to meet him. But Gaston surprised them and stabbed the beast. "Oh!" The beast roared with pain and whipped around, accidentally knocking Gaston off the roof. With a cry, Gaston plunged through the darkness toward the rocks below. Belle pulled the beast to safety and knelt beside him. "You came back," he whispered. "At least I got to see you one last time." "Please, don't leave me," Belle sobbed. "I love you." As she spoke, the last rose petal fell. Then, suddenly, magical sparkles began to swirl around the beast. He rose into the air, turning slowly in a shower of light. Belle watched in disbelief as the beast began to transform. He became a handsome prince. "Belle," he cried, "it's me." Belle gazed into the prince's eyes. "It really is you?" she said in wonder. Magic swirled above the castle, and the servants transformed back into their human shapes. The spell was broken, but no one was more joyful than Belle and her prince. "Are they going to live happily ever after?" Chip asked. "Of course, my dear," Mrs. Potts replied. And so they did. The end. If you like this story for today, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. See you next time. Always be happy and safe. See you. Bye.